his wife initially because he had his own wife and she was still alive.
Oh.
So he was a very upright man and he wasn't going to marry someone he's already married.
Just have sex with her, probably.
Yeah. She was actually a former chambermaid, and her name was Ann Wells, by the way. She was actually a former chambermaid, and he had her educated and took her as his mistress. Mm-hmm. His wife and husband both died a few years from apart from each other. And then the Duke and Anne herself got married in 1744, and apparently had an amazingly happy marriage until she died in 1759. So she got the good end of the deal here.
Heck yeah.
You're with this stinky, ill-conditioned husband who's trying to sell you at market, and some Duke comes along, swoops you up, and educates you, makes you his mistress. You get to marry him, and you die happy.
All I can picture.
Yes, Bridgerton!
The Duke of Bridgerton.
Just imagine him showing up while you're standing in market, and you got this scrub next to you who is probably not very nice and making you plow fields. And you're a chambermaid. You're dumping people's poop and pee and taking care of people. And this Duke comes along and thinks you're cute and picks you up, and then you get your life set.
But then you're a mistress and not a wife.
She became his wife, though.
That's true.
But he was a good, upright citizen man, God-fearing man. He didn't marry two people at once.
Yeah. Just having a mistress is just as bad.
Yeah. So in 1857, the Matrimonial Cause Act allowed husbands to divorce wives on the grounds of adultery. Like we said, he can
only husbands, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A woman could do so, but she had to prove that her husband was guilty of
impotence. Well,
that, but incest, bigamy, desertion, or possibly all the above. Like, she really had to prove it. And they also said, like, if it was over 7 years apart in age, that could be a reason. So a lot of times when men went out to war or, like, they came back and their wives were with someone else. Because they were like, they deserted me!
Yeah.
Even though it was largely restricted, like after that, it became much easier to get a divorce, so people weren't selling their wives at market. But it has been documented the last case was in the early 20th century. It was historian James Bryce documented it in a thing he did, and it was like the early 1900s that they were still selling. And places too, like across Europe started doing the same thing, like into the 30s.
God.
Yeah.
This makes me like so angry that
I know.
A man could like, I don't want to be married to you, so I'm going to sell you. You don't own me.
No. Well, you did back then. You owned your wife, awful. And that's why they found that loophole. Like, I can't get a divorce, but if she's my property and I can sell my cattle are mine, I can sell my wife, and then I don't have to worry about it. And that's how it went. And most wives were like, I'm down, especially the Duke's woman. I bet she was thrilled. I would be. I would. Imagine him showing up. Remember the guy she was supposed to marry? Remember in Bridgerton, the guy she was supposed to marry? And then the Duke shows up?
Yeah. We can just pretend we're dating. Yeah. All right, honey, we believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it worked.
I like to focus on the fact that Duke came and saved that girl from a life of chamber pots. And gave her everything. And then she died happy. She died, they were married from 1744 to 759. So what's that, 14 years? 14 years! Plus, before that, when she was his mistress, she probably got treated better than his wife.
Not by people. People were not. Women of ill repute couldn't go out in society.
But when she married him, she could.
She was a duchess. She could do
and it said that that as far as everyone knows, their marriage was very happy. So good for her. Good on you, friend. And good on the one that bought herself. I don't know what happened to her, but she's my hero.
She's my hero.
She's like, F this. I'm not putting up with this anymore. I got 3 pounds. That's a lot, really. The rest of her shillings.
Yeah.
It was 3 pounds. Like, she had 3 pounds.
Where'd she get it?
I don't know.
I'm surprised
probably saved it.
Didn't just take it from her.
Probably. But that's the story of men, how we used to divorce each other. Mm-hmm. You just sold your wife. I mean, of course. What else would you do?
Go to the market.
Go to the market.
I'd like to get a refund on this, please.
This little piggy went to market. This little piggy sale.
It's like, can I have a refund? This was defective.
There was, I think it was the Netherlands, in like the 70s. A man bought his friend's wife for 20,000 whatevers. 20,000.
Netherlands money.
Yeah, Netherlands money.
Viking money.
2 days later was like, shit, that was a mistake. And the other husband was like, oh no, that's a deal. No takesy backsies.
No take backsies.
No refunds.
Final sale.
Final sale. She was on sale. I wanted 40. I gave it for 20. You know, yeah. So that happened in the Netherlands. And like, I think it was the 70s, 60s or 70s. So that wasn't that long ago.
That poor woman.
I know. Why is that? Why would that still be happening anywhere? I thought the Netherlands would have been different than that.
Yeah, I would have too.
But I think too, in like England, it was like the practice in the cities and stuff stopped, but those rural areas, when they couldn't get to court and stuff, they just sold their wives back and forth all.
And it was one in Scotland in like the 1700s. Before, you could just go to a bar and say, I want to marry you. I want to marry you. And then you were married.
Yeah, it did say that. It was really funny because they would do that. They would, like, you could just say you were married and you were married. But you couldn't just say we were divorced.
Oh, no.
You couldn't do that. And then when they got clergy involved, it made it even more complicated. And it was... a lot
of it, especially with a lot of the Catholic people in Britain, where, like, they might not live near, like, the Highlands. And they might not have a priest local. So they did a lot of hand fasting, and it was good for, like, a year and a day.
Yeah.
I think. And it was like, that's why get married and have children legally, you know.
Yes. Because it was important that your children weren't bastards.
Right. So if you were hand fast and you had a baby under hand fast, it was the same thing.
So a year and a day, would you have to renew it?
You would have to be married. You had, like, a year to get married. When you'd hand fast.
Oh.
You had to give hand fast.
Time to get to
right.
a place.
Or if you,
gotcha.
And if it was if you didn't do anything, then you weren't married.
Then you were divorced. Well, that's perfect.
You weren't divorced.
You weren't ever married.
Right.
So what happens to your kids?
I think so. They're bastards.
Poor little bastards.
But I think, like, in Scotland, they recognize hand fast as a marriage.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, and that was a more pagan thing. So that's what they did. Anyway. Terrible Trends number 11. There you go.
Yay!
I gotta think of a good name for this one. Anyway, make sure that you are following us on the Facebook so you can see our lives when we do our Terrible Trends, and the TikToks and the YouTubes and the Instagrams. Like, follow those. Share our podcast when it pops up. Do all those things. It really helps us, and we really love it when you do that.
Yes, share us, like us, rate us, subscribe. Go on your platform of choice that you like to listen to podcasts and subscribe to our podcast so you can get notifications when we release a new episode. We try to keep it regular, about 2 a week now. So if you want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at thecousinsweird@gmail.com.
Or just send us a message on Facebook.
Send us a freaky, weird story, a spooky story. Whatever. Not too freaky.
That makes me think of...
Not too freaky.
What's the Flight of the Conchords episode when Jermaine was David Bowie? Freaky. What did he say?
David Bowie.
I'm David
Bowie.
I'm 1960s David Bowie and Space Alien or something. And he was like, you freaky something. I can't remember, but it's so funny. Anyway, if you never watched Flight of the Conchords, do yourself a favor and do that. Just a weird random plug for a TV show that hasn't been on in 15 years. 15 years,
yeah. It's been off air for a while.
Yes. And don't forget, we're going to be at AcreCon. We're going to promote the heck out of that until it's here. And it's August 20th and 21st. And we'll be there. And we will be doing a live episode. And we will create an event on our Facebook so that you can track it and make sure you know when that is.
If you're feeling generous, you could support us through Buy Me a Coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thecousinsweird. Or also, another way, if you're feeling generous, go and donate money to Happy Period.
Happy Period. You can buy products that will support the Tri-County Northern New York area, Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence County, for people that bleed, who need products.
Yes.
Because period poverty is a real thing, and we are working towards making that better. So you can do that too. I think that's it.
All right.
Stay
freaky.
Friends. Bye.
Bye.